The latest on the migrant crisis now. EU member states are reported to have approved plans for military action against people smugglers in the Mediterranean. The EU had first launched an intelligence gathering phase operation in July, and with that objective met, ministers agreed it was time to move to the next step. Now, the second phase of the operation, approved Monday, still restricts the EU to take action in international waters. A third phase involves military action against people smugglers inside Libyan territorial waters, aiming to destroy their boats and networks before they set sail. Of course, this step is more controversial given the increased risk and that it requires, at a minimum, a UN Security Council resolution and preferably Libyan government agreement. Well, let's get the very latest on this meeting. CCTV's Jack Barton joins us now live from Brussels. Jack, can you confirm for us whether or not EU member states have indeed approved plans for military action against people smugglers in the Mediterranean and what this might entail?
Well, it's probably accurate to say they have approved plans to approve plans. What we've seen, the statement from the European Council, is they believe everything is in position now to transition into phase 2. That is the phase, as you just mentioned, that follows the surveillance phase of that operation, which has been going on for the past few months, and during which the EU's foreign policy chief, Federica Mogherini, says that the European navies have identified a number of targets during that period. Had they been in phase 2, they could have struck and either seized or destroyed those boats. So what they're saying today is they will transition into phase 2, but first there needs to be another meeting. That will be attended by politicians as well as military officials. At that meeting, they will assess who or how the command and control of the operation should work, and also which other countries are going to get involved. At the moment, there's only 4 ships in the Mediterranean capable of carrying out operations. They're operated by Britain, Italy and Germany, but it's expected that other countries will join the military phase, or the phase of the operation where they do actually target human trafficking gangs. The expectation is that this meeting will come on Wednesday, so we might have a full agreement in place by the end of the week. Even then, though, they say that the operations won't begin until next month. And as you mentioned before, this is only phase 2, so it will be in the international waters of the Mediterranean. It will not be within Libya's territorial waters. That is phase 3, so it is on the planning stage, but that still requires UN Security Council backing.
Now, Jack, no doubt the issue of quotas for the redistribution of migrants and refugees would have come up today. What's the latest on this divisive issue?
Well, the meeting is still underway, but indeed what the ministers were really gathered here today was to discuss that new proposal by the European Commission, and the centrepiece of it is the idea that 160,000 refugees could be resettled across the bloc in a mandatory manner, depending on a country's GDP, employment rates, other factors like that. But what we've heard from ministers going into the meeting is it's almost going to be impossible to make that a mandatory system. It may be voluntary, because there's so much resistance from Eastern European countries. But because of the developments in the past 24 hours, we've seen all these border controls going in countries that normally have a passport-free zone in the Schengen area, countries like Germany, the Czech Republic, the Netherlands, Slovakia, even Austria, all putting border checkpoints in place. We've seen a big discussion on that. And what we're hearing from inside the meeting is they're talking about setting up what they're calling reception centres in Italy and Greece, which would be essentially holding centres where people can be housed until they're fingerprinted, identified and registered. And those who fail the test, those who are deemed not to be genuine refugees, they will be deported very quickly. So we've told this has sort of moved up the agenda because of the situation and the way it has developed over the past 24 hours.
Right, that update there from Jack Barton live for us in Brussels.